Yeah, now we're going to change it up a little bit. Normally, I am sending SMX Insider over to our buddies James Stewart and Clinton Fowler for the inside line, talking about sports betting for the weekend. But Clinton's on vacation because he's a New England guy, so he's staying back to Southwick area. I'm filling in. I get to hang out with James more, which is great. Let's talk about where some of the smart money could go. James, the hardest thing to predict is Chase Sexton is coming back to race this weekend, and the odds makers have him early in the week, at least, as the third best 450 rider, behind the Lawrences, ahead of Eli Tomac, and more. What do you think about that one?
Well, I think maybe if they watch the Inside Line show, they might change those odds after that. But yeah, it was a little surprising, when you think about it. Just on paper, we broke it down. It is hard to come in the middle part of the season for anybody and really compete. One, it's hard enough to get on the podium anyway at any of these races, but let alone you got to knock Eli Tomac, Justin Cooper, Aaron Plessner, because you're assuming that probably one of the Lawrence boys, if not both of them, are going to be on the podium. So Chase Sexton was ahead, had better odds to finish on the podium than Eli Tomac. I think what they're leaning at is what we saw last weekend. Maybe Eli's in a spot to where, he's mentally, I wouldn't say defeated, but he's maybe struggling mentally, trying to figure out where he's at in the moment as far as beating Jet Lawrence. And I feel like Eli Tomac, he's not the guy he's not showing up to say, I want to be on the podium. He's showing up to win. And if he feels like maybe he can't beat Jet Lawrence, not saying that Eli feels that way, but maybe that's what Vegas is looking at because of what happened last weekend, because statistically, like, this isn't his best racetrack here going into RedBud. You would just look at maybe Chase Sexton going off of 1-1 last year, being your defending motocross champion, had some success against Jet Lawrence last time he was out racing in the Pro Motocross. So maybe that pushes them guys going forward. But yeah, it was a little surprising earlier this week to have Chase Sexton ahead of Eli Tomac for a podium.
And as you said, you can watch the whole Inside Line show. James and I go on for about an hour. This is one of the biggest topics. And the other one that we hit big time, we'll give you a little bit here, is this is a juicy sports bet to place. If you put $20 on Jorge Prado making the podium and he finishes on the podium, currently it would pay out $377 on 20. We saw some signs of life at Southwick. Could he podium RedBud?
Yeah, I actually think he can. And I feel like we've been watching George, the first 4 rounds. We saw Jorge show up last weekend. And yeah, after his interviews, after the race, he said there was nothing fixed. They didn't fix the motorcycle. What it says is that Jorge was comfortable, and Jorge went out there and rode and fixed those things and was up there actually competing. I mean, he kept Jet, consistently the first half of the second moto. So he had some speed and he rode different. Like, Jorge was more aggressive. He was doing some stuff out there. So I'm banking on we're going to see Jorge again because of it was the attitude, because it was really him. And he also came out again and said that it was nothing that they fixed with the motorcycle. I believe maybe mentally that'll show up. And I think for $20 to have that kind of payout, to have a realistic shot of that actually happening. Normally when you get those long of odds, you're like, dude, how many people got to crash for that to happen? On Jorge's thing, we just need Jorge to show up and not George. And I think you might be able to win on that bet. So that is a sneaky good pit. Jorge finished on the podium for $20 and making some moolah. I like that one.
All right, that's you can watch our whole show, right? We'll get into the whole thing a whole lot more, right, James?
Jason, I appreciate it. Make sure you guys, if you want more, to go to the Inside Line to hear both of our voices even more. But always be safe out there and know that things might change. So make sure you check out the show and check out the website for those lines. So thanks, Jay, and we'll see you this weekend.
It's the normal schedule, everyone. This race operates on East Coast time. So race day live, 1 hour of qualifying coverage. You can watch from 10 to 11 Eastern on Saturday morning. That's July 5th. The motos start at 1 o'clock Eastern. As always, you can watch everything on Peacock. If you're outside the United States, maybe you're an Italian and you want to watch Antonio Caroli on a Ducati, you can do that with the SMX Video Pass. That's supermotocross.tv, and it's 50% off because more than halfway through the championship. But also, JT, a NBC window at 3 o'clock. That'll be 450 Moto 2. So again, tell your friends to jump in and see what the likes of Jet Lawrence, Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton now, maybe Jorge Prado will be up there. See what the sport's all about.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.